Welcome back to Unhinged and Unplugged.
We're your hosts, Alyssa and Tressa.
This is episode 10. Meet your chaos coordinators. That's us. First of all, make sure you subscribe to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify so you don't miss any of our episodes or bonus clips that we add on there. And make sure you like us on all social media at Unhinged and Unplugged.
Yeah.
So we haven't really talked about ourselves. I feel like we did like a quick glimpse into who we are. So we thought that today, since there's no football or... there's a big hockey game.
Very big hockey game on.
Tonight, but we'll get to that. We figured we would get to know us.
Yeah.
So I guess we will start with how did you meet Rob?
Oh, we're going to start with me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. My husband owns a company on Staten Island. Yeah, see? Hear it? It's very close.
No. Yeah, now I could hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Great. My husband owns RCR Financial Services. He's very proud of that. In 2008, I got a job there because my mom went for an interview. She didn't want the job, and she said, "Oh, I think my daughter might like it." So I didn't have a job at the time, and I interviewed. I got the job. I didn't know who he was. Maybe I was training with his best friend, one of his best friends, Vinny. I was training with him, and I met him like in passing. I still didn't know that he was like the owner of the company. I don't know really what happened. I had a boyfriend, and then he had like he used to have like a barbecue at his house for all the employees, and that's kind of like how I got to know him a little better, and it seemed like he liked me.
Did you like him at first?
Did I like him at first? No, because I had a boyfriend. And
did he pursue you or you pursued him?
Yeah. In the beginning, he was the pursuer because like I said, I had a boyfriend. I don't know what happened. My best friend started working at RTR also, and she became his assistant. So I think that kind of like made things...
Like you guys got a little closer because of that.
Yeah. Like I would sit up there in the office more, and on Valentine's Day, he sent me flowers to my house, but didn't say that they were from him. And I knew they were from him. And my mom was like, "If this is from the guy you work for," like she didn't like that idea at all. So then that's what happened. He sent me flowers, and we were just in a very tumultuous, is that the word? Tumultuous relationship in the beginning because we were like a secret. Because I worked for him. It was very taboo.
Like very romance novel, HR.
Yeah, like
not good.
My friend would drive me a block away, and I'd get in his car, in the getaway car, and we'd go. We couldn't hang out on Staten Island. We could only hang out like in the city.
You couldn't go to the World Series Yankee game?
I didn't go. No, that's another story. I'll be here all day. That's another story. But I worked for him. It worked out. How did you meet Frank?
How long did you guys date before he proposed?
So I met him on May 5th, 2008. We started dating we started hooking up like in 2009.
Oh, us too.
Yeah, we started hooking up in 2009. A secret though. So like it was a secret, and then he proposed May 2010.
Oh, wow. Quick.
Yeah, but it was like a secret. It was quick to other people, but like it wasn't quick to us.
Well, a year is like...
No. Yeah. I don't even think it was a year, honestly.
Yeah, that's quick.
But we went through a lot of bullshit in the beginning, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you and Frank?
Well...
We'll be here all day.
Do we have all day? We met in 2002. It was a blizzard. Me and my cousin are the same age, and we would always hang out. And he was like, "You want to come over and we'll go shovel houses for money?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And we walked down to the corner, and it was Frank and two of his other friends. And he just kept like staring at me, and like he kept making comments, but I was interested in his best friend. Mm-hmm. And when they walked away, he kept calling my cousin over and over and over again. And I was like, finally, like, give me the phone. I'm like, I don't like you. I'm interested in the other Frank. And, well, actually, I'm sorry. I thought his name was Sienna because they called him Sienna because it was Frank and Frank, but they called him Sienna. So I was like, I'm interested in Frank. I'm not interested in you. Leave me alone. And he just kept calling and was like, you got to give it up. Like, I don't like you. And I ended up dating his friend for a while, a very long while. And after we broke up, then Frank came back and I was just like,
But were you guys still friends when you were dating?
We were. So we would double date with him and his girlfriend and me and my boyfriend.
Funny.
We double dated. It was there was a lot. His sister didn't like his girlfriend at the time. And she was like, you have to get rid of Donna. And this was after I broke up, after I found out my ex was cheating on me with my best friend. So I was like,
oh my God,
easy.
this girl could write a book.
I was like, okay, no problem. I'll get rid of his girlfriend at the time, who now I don't have any issues with. And we had always been talking because we were friends. Like, we literally were just very good friends. And I was going to Vegas with my friends, and he went to text me, send me pictures of the bikinis that you're buying so I could see how hot you look in them. Oh. And he sent it to his girlfriend.
Ooh. That's something Frank
that's
would do.
how he got caught flirting with me.
What did he say to her?
He was like, yeah, I like Tressa. And they broke up, and we talked all summer. I went to Vegas twice. It was my single summer. I was living my best life. And when I came back from Vegas the second time, he was like, we're dating. And I was like, all right.
Okay.
And then 2 years later, I got pregnant with Jalen, and here we are.
Okay, Frank.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to our stories, but we'll really be here all day.
We'll be here all day. I think I might write a book.
You should.
I should. But anyway, now his ex-girlfriend, whatever.
Okay.
There's no bad blood there.
Yeah. Oh, and can we just talk about how your ex-boyfriend was in your wedding party?
He was.
A little fun fact. So his name was Frank too, right?
His name was Frank.
I can't.
They were best friends.
Wait, was he the one shoveling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was him. They were best friends from when they were like young, like 5-6 years old. I had actually went to school with him. We went to PS 50 together, and then we went to St. Charles together for a little bit. But then and we rekindled when we met each other again, obviously. But after everything happened, and I started dating my husband, and he was engaged to the girl he cheated on me with, we all just were like, whatever, we're happy, you're happy. Like, we went on vacations together, like, we hung out. No bad blood, because I don't hold a grudge. And he ended up being in our wedding party. He did, and then he also ended up dating my niece after that. So
just keeping it all in the family.
Yeah, it's just whatever it is, what it is. As long as, like, I feel like we both just, as long as the other one was happy, like,
yeah, and you grew up,
we grew up, right, and we were friends. Like, we were all friends before, and I think it was nice that we were able to stay friends after. So
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could really write a book.
You could.
I might. My husband might not like it, but whatever. And, we had 2 kids, and
yay.
13 years later, we're 16
God.
years. We're
That's
together
crazy.
since 2009. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got married in 2013. Tell your story. Like, I don't know.
Like, I was born on a hot summer
Yeah.
day. Okay.
August 3rd.
I was born on August 3rd, 1988. All those years ago. I'm the youngest of 3. I have an older sister and an older brother. They're 12. My sister was 12 years older than me, and my brother is 11 years older than me. I was not an accident. My parents were just really young when they had my sister and my brother. So by the time they were like 12 and 11, my mother had more patience, and she just wanted to have another baby. I don't know why, but here I am.
She's probably so happy now.
Here I am.
Did you drive her crazy?
I am like the glue to that family. I'll tell you right now. So I just have like a regular dad. I have a regular mom.
Barbara is
Barbara and
a saint.
Barbara and Frank. I have an older sister, Tara, and I have an older brother, Frankie. My sister passed away in December 2010. She was sick all her life. She had a heart condition, and she passed away ultimately from pneumonia. So that sucked, and it continues to suck, but that's okay. My brother, Frankie, I don't really talk to him. We just won't get on. We won't get on that train, but he's there. What is that?
The kids talking
but
upstairs.
I hear it in my headphone. I was born in Brooklyn. I lived in Staten Island all my life. When I was in junior high, so 2000, I was in 6th grade in 2000. How old were you? What grade were you in?
2000, I was a freshman in high school.
Okay. So I was, in 2000, I moved to Florida.
What are you doing down here?
Why?
No, you have to go upstairs.
We're filming.
Interesting stories.
What?
You know, I was down here for a while.
Oh, listening. So
Go upstairs.
They didn't know where I was.
Go up. I'm not kidding. Go. Come on. We want to finish this.
All right, just go upstairs and wait
Go
for the
upstairs,
pizza.
please. Go bye.
Come on, because we want to watch the game.
Now you're gonna screw up my whole. You know how much editing I'm gonna have to do. Can you please? Just
We want to watch
upstairs?
the game.
Keep
Come
something
on.
in. Yeah, keep one open. Please. Me. Oh, get out the way.
So bad.
Anybody want 3 children?
So bad.
Lucas isn't here.
Lucas
but if
is
Lucas
not
is here,
here.
you can have all 4.
It's just been so nice.
You buy one, you get 3 for fucking free.
My husband went to Florida, and I tried really hard to get him to take Luciana, but she didn't want to go. So he took Lucas. So I'm down a child.
All fucking here. Okay.
Anyway, so in 2000, I moved to Florida. That was horrendous. It was so traumatizing.
Really?
It was awful. I lived there from
What part of Florida?
Coral Springs, which I
It's
feel
nice there.
It is. It wasn't terrible.
I think
there.
that's what
It's
Jess's
nice there.
parents.
A lot of
homes.
people from New York go there to live.
Yeah.
We moved because my sister moved first, and then my mother didn't want to be away from her, so we all moved, and nobody cared about me. I was in 6th grade. I had all my friends. I went to elementary school with all my besties.
How long did you live there?
3 years. So
Oh, wow.
6th to 8th grade.
That's a long time.
And then the summer of 8th grade, after 8th grade was ended, I came to New York for vacation. I was staying for the summer because my uncle got married. I was staying for the summer. I stayed with my sister. And then before...
Your sister moved back?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. 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 We moved to Florida to be with my sister, and then she moved back to New York.
Wait, when? How long
Florida
after?
sucked. No, she was there probably for 2 years. We probably were. We were probably without her for a year. It sucked.
It's not the same as
It's
here.
not that. It's just different living there, and you don't make the same money.
No.
And the medical health for her obviously was a big
Yeah.
thing, with the hospitals and stuff, and it just wasn't working out. So yeah, we moved all the way there for her, and then little bitch moved back here. And so I came for the summer to stay with her, and then right before 9th grade started, we decided, my mother I never went home.
Yeah. You just moved back.
And then we moved back, and then I registered for high school, and then I was with all my friends and reunited. But that was a crazy 3 years of my life.
Yeah, that's a lot at that age.
Oh my God, it was terrible. That's why I don't even want to ever move.
No.
I moved a lot when I was a kid too, just out of we never owned a house, so I just was moving from different houses, and which wasn't a big deal, whatever. But I want to be in my house. I said when I bought my house, I said I want to be buried in my backyard.
Yeah, because it's a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass.
I moved 4 times,
It
and
sucks.
it's not fun.
But doing all that, and I was in junior high, that was highly traumatizing.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I'll never forget it. And I tell my mother every day that she ruined my life. But she really didn't. Obviously, we moved back here, and I have a nice life.
Poor Barbara.
So that was that. What about you? Tell us about your Cipriello. Cipriello is your main?
Cipriello.
Cipriello.
So.
Cipriello.
Well, I was born in April 10th, 1986. I'm actually adopted. My kids don't know. That's the biggest fight between my husband and I. He feels they don't need to know. I feel that why shouldn't they know?
What
It's
if we watched this?
well, we're gonna have to tell them this week then. This is gonna have to let them. I mean, I want. It's not a secret in my family. My whole family, we talk about it, and Jalen is at the age where she listens to what's going on. So, like, I mean, I'd rather them hear it from me than from somebody else. But you know, my husband just, I don't know, whatever. So my birth parents were my birth mom was 16 or 17 when she got pregnant, and my birth father was like 21. He was in the military. So she went to this place called the Sisterhood of the Catholic Charities, and they helped unwed mothers, and they helped them make a decision, like, do you want adoption or do you want to raise the baby, like, whatever. So she chose adoption because she felt she came from a broken home and she didn't want that for me, which I'm very thankful for now. So Anna and Phil are my parents, and I'm very grateful for them. I have 2 brothers, Michael and Philip, and I have 4 half brothers and 2 half sisters from my birth parents. This is a lot of
Where
siblings.
did they come from? Originally?
He lives in St. Louis, Missouri, and she's from upstate New York. She lives an hour and 20 minutes away.
So that's where you were born.
Yeah, Beacon, New York. That's where I was born. So, yeah, I found out when I was 8 years old, and my best friend.
How did you find out?
So my best friend, Jalen's godmother, is also adopted, and
Oh, get out of here!
yeah, our moms are best friends, and they both couldn't have kids, so we're both from the same place.
Oh wow!
Same
Get out of
exact.
here.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I
Yeah,
didn't
we're
know
4 weeks
that.
apart. And they bought us Cabbage Patch dolls. So you adopt a Cabbage Patch doll. So they bought us the dolls, and they came with this book about how you adopt the baby, and that's how they explained it to us.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that you had a friend.
Yeah, it was
I didn't
pretty
know
cool.
that. Oh, that's
So
nice.
I did Ancestry DNA. So when I found out I was pregnant with Jalen, she had a marker on her heart and on her brain, and the 2 markers together supposedly is like a chromosomal issue, and it's like trisomy 18, I think. So they wanted to do an amniocentesis, but I was 24, and I was like, they told me, like, you could have a higher chance of miscarrying than the baby actually having an issue. And I was
Right.
like, well, regardless of the situation, like, we're not going to abort the baby. So I'm not getting an amnio. Like, it is what it is. I'll handle whatever comes to me. And they wanted to do like a whole genealogy thing. And obviously I didn't know my history. So my dad was like, well, we'll hire a private investigator because it was a closed adoption. And I was like, no, I don't, it's fine. It is what it is. Like, it's not going to change my mind. So eventually I wanted to know, like, do I have any family history? Because for my kids, like BRCA gene, cancer, like anything for them.
But for yourself too.
Yeah. So I did Ancestry DNA, and 2 years after I did it, her niece was like, we're first cousins, how? So I told her my whole story, and 2 weeks after that, she messaged me.
Oh, and then
And this was 2019.
and you met.
We met. I did. I made sure with my parents first. I was like, listen, I'm letting you know my birth mom found me. Like, or you guys, Frank wasn't okay with it. Frank was like, I don't even want to hear about it. I want nothing to do with it. I don't care. This is stupid. You have a family. Why do you need this? And it almost caused us to get divorced.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like you want to know. I don't know.
Yeah. And like, it's a part of me. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not like it's a big part of me.
And curiosity.
And I feel now as an adult and a mom, I get it. Like, I was 25 when I had Jalen, and I'm like, if I was 16, I could not do this. Like, there's no way. I would have probably, my parents would have raised the baby. Like, I don't know. So I'm thankful that I found out later in life, because I appreciated what she did more. I feel like if I was a teenager, I would have resented. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to have met them, if that makes sense.
Did your parents meet her?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
she did?
yeah, I told my parents, and I was like, you know, if you want to meet her, like, I won't do anything unless you guys are okay with it. And they were fine with it. And they're like, yeah, let's go to breakfast. And we did. We went to breakfast. And
I like that.
I'm not really an emotional person. So her and my mom were like hysterical crying. And I was just like, my mom's like, you didn't cry. I'm like, I don't know.
You really are not emotional.
No, I'm not. Unless I'm angry. Like, if I'm angry, I'll cry. But I'm not like, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Or I don't know.
And we're very emotional here in the Riley house.
Yeah, no. I'm not very
Okay.
I don't know.
So that's a nice story. Well, let me ask you, actually. So, the whole thing with Teen Mom, with Caitlin and Tyler. What is your take on it then?
I messaged them because I am very invested. I watched Teen Mom from the day that it became a thing.
16 and pregnant.
They are my favorite storyline because I feel like what they did was they had so much strength at that age to do what they did and to keep an open adoption. That's tough. I feel like for myself, I would have wanted a closed adoption because I wouldn't have wanted. They watched their child grow up.
Yeah, well, they wanted updates and they wanted to be able to.
That
be in the
I think to
life.
me that seems harder than just not seeing,
what you don't see, can't hurt you, whatever
right,
they're saying.
out of sight, out of not out of sight, out of mind, but you're watching somebody else raise your child and you don't have a say.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I feel like what's going on is terrible because Brandon and Teresa this was their choice. It was their choice to do an open adoption.
Right.
It was their choice to update. It was their choice to keep them in her life, in Carly's life for all this time. And to pull that away from them, it's not right. Could there be more to the story? Maybe, but I don't think so. They're very open about the whole process. And I think what Brandon and Teresa are doing is awful. And I think that Carly in the long run will resent that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I see it from both ways, at both ends. I don't know anything about the subject, about being adopted or how I would feel if that was me, but I'm listening to everybody's opinions and I don't know. I would feel, I don't know. I'm sure Carly has a very nice life now, right? And her brother's adopted and that whole thing, that's another whole nother story, right?
Right.
I feel like they did the same thing with that mom. I don't know how I would, if it would bother me that my parents went on and had 3 other kids.
No, I mean,
and
for I know myself, and like I said before, at that age, I think I would have been resentful. But as a mom, now I'm
yeah, so
they did the right thing.
Maybe right now we don't know how Carly feels.
Right.
Maybe she's at that age where, she's 16, so maybe she is.
And it could be that she's acting out, but that's something I think that Brandon and Teresa should be open and honest with. She's having a very hard time.
Yeah, if that's even what it is.
Right,
I mean,
nobody knows.
You don't really know.
And they might not even know. Yeah. But I just think in the long run, eventually, when she's old enough, they're very easily accessible because they are in the spotlight.
Yeah.
So
well, that's why
regardless, she's going to be able to reach out to them.
Yeah. Everybody kind of says if she wants to have a relationship with them when she turns 20, whatever it is, and 18, 21, she obviously, they are very accessible. I commented to both of them on their posts, on their DMs, whatever it was, their stories. And I said, as an adopted person, give her time because eventually the pieces will fall into place and she's gonna be thankful that you did what you did and she's going to come back into your life. Yeah, and it's her choice. Right now it's probably not her choice.
And I get Brandon and Teresa's side too because in my mind, what I'm thinking is Carly is oh my God, they're famous. Why am I here and not there? Maybe that's what's going on in her head because was she 14 now?
No, they're 16.
16. That's wild. So in her head, she's probably I want to, this is just what I'm thinking. Maybe she's well, they can handle me now. So why am I not with them?
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe she was acting out after they would do their visits, whatever the case. But I think Brandon and Teresa are wrong in the way that they completely
just because it was an open adoption. Don't have an open adoption, then I guess if you can't,
100%.
If you're not going to be able to,
right? An open adoption, you made the choice to say we're going to give you life updates. We're going to still talk to you. We're still going to meet up once a year.
Yeah.
You made that decision.
It's kind of a little mean because I feel that's what pushed them to go into the adoption. I feel that's what pushed them to say, okay, we'll do it.
Right.
And that's why a lot of people are mad at that woman, Dawn, because they just feel she the adoption agency woman.
Yeah.
Like that she kind of just.
I mean, I've watched that episode so many times. It's so heartbreaking, but I feel like Dawn, she did them. She did the right thing.
Yeah, I don't see what she did wrong.
No, neither do I. She literally she was like a mother figure to them because they both really like.
Yeah, and
they both come from terrible backgrounds.
Yeah.
So like I feel like she guided them in the right direction, and she does. She's still with them every day.
Still
but
talks to them. Yeah, so
I think that Brandon and Teresa needed to go about this a whole different way. And I get it. They're in the spotlight. I get that. Like that's probably a lot for them, but. You knew that going into this.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't know how famous they were going to be.
I don't think they realized that probably.
But you knew going into an open adoption that all these options are available.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Their story is literally my favorite. I'm so happy that it's still on TV.
Yeah, I don't really watch it anymore, but I love seeing Bentley and Macy
and they're like Macy and Ryan. They're doing so well. He just had another baby.
Yeah. No,
I just love.
I like that. Like we grew up with them. I feel.
I was literally. I remember I was pregnant with Jalen watching. They had toddlers. I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this?
Yeah. No.
I don't think I could do it.
No.
Here we are. Oh my god! 13 years later. There's just chaos happening upstairs. Chaos. We both had a lot of grief in our life.
We have boring lives. Yes.
We definitely don't have boring lives. Just have a camera crew follow us around 24 hours, tell me my life is boring.
You know when you just like don't. I always see those memes that are like, "Don't ask me what I like to do in my free time."
What free? You have free time?
No, it's like
this is our. Do you see our free time?
Like don't ask a fun fact about me.
My fun fact is that my life is fucking chaos.
I don't have a fun fact. See what I mean? I don't have a fun fact.
My life is
chaos. We needed to really like
I played. Did you play sports growing up?
No, absolutely not. And my kids and my husband remind me every day. Absolutely not. I was not athletic. I didn't want to do anything. I hated gym. In high school, I cut gym all the time. I went to summer school because of gym.
It's a summer school for fucking gym?
Yes.
That's horrible.
Yes.
For gym, it's the easiest class.
Well, because I always cut, and the fucking teacher, I had the same. Imagine in high school, obviously you have different teachers. I had the same freaking teacher, like a lot of times. Like she just was always my gym teacher. Craziness. So no, I never played sport. I maybe danced. I danced for like 2 years. No, when I was younger, I literally loved to play in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I loved Leonardo DiCaprio. I loved the Titanic.
Devon Sawa.
Thought I was Selena. Yeah. Like I thought I was Selena in my room. Like all my posters were my audience. I had a karaoke machine with a microphone, and that was my childhood. Like I just loved, like how I am now.
Yeah.
I was a fan.
Pop culture.
I was a fangirl back then. All I needed was my little TV and my VCR and my
boombox.
tapes, and
I had like the stereo, the 3-piece stereo.
Well,
it was purple and gray.
The five change.
And it was
CD.
NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, 98 Degrees, and New Kids on the Block.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I
Sometimes I throw a little Christina and Jessica in there.
I never cared about anything. I never really.
I feel like I was like I complain about my kids, but I did everything. I danced. I cheered in high school. I played soccer. I played softball. Roller hockey.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's all. That's fine.
What else did I do?
I had no interest in any of that.
I did everything. But my dad, we were a sports family. Like my whole family, if you went to a family function at any time in the year, all we talked about was hockey and football.
Or a hockey family.
Like the whole family. Yeah. And it's like the running joke, like, oh my God, we're talking about hockey again. Every family function, whether it be a wedding, a communion, a fucking sit down dinner, New Year's Day, Christmas, it was sports.
Oh, I like that. Well, I lived in a sports house. Well, my dad was a very big gambler. But that's how it affected me, not in a good way, but that's how the sports were in my house. It's not like we were playing the sport. They were betting on the sport.
Yeah.
So
I feel you.
It was it was hectic.
Yeah. I can attest to that.
It was super hectic.
No, I did everything. My brothers played, they played travel baseball. I feel like nobody was ever home. And my mom complains now, oh, you're never home with the kids. They're always out doing something. I'm like, hello? Did you? Yeah. I remember one time they went to Baltimore for my brother. I'm 4 years older than the middle child and 8 years older than the baby. So I was in high school. They were still in 8th grade. And I remember my mom, they had to go to Baltimore. So I was like, I must have been a senior in high school. I'm like, they're going away for the weekend. We're having a bender. So Katrina, Victoria, everyone comes to my house and we go food shopping and we have a cart, 17 years old, a cart full of mixers, ice mixers, just stuff for alcohol. And I see my aunt and she is like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, nothing. She's like, your parents are in Maryland this weekend, right? I'm like, no, they're in Baltimore. She's like, that's the same place. Number one. 99 average I graduated with. Didn't know that Baltimore, Maryland was the same place. And I just remember, anytime they went away, we just threw a total bender in my house.
And now they throw parties with their parents.
We do.
At the house.
Every single year. We have a pig roast.
They're a party house.
We're a party house. We have a huge pig roast, and it's my friends and both of my brother's friends and sometimes my parents' friends too. And it's a shit show. Somebody's puking at all. Every year someone throws up. Every year someone has to be carried home. Something breaks. My brother gets in trouble.
The cops are called.
The cops come. Yeah. We're our party house. And I think I started it. But I will say that my dad did put cameras on the house because we used to throw parties. I used to throw parties and sneak out. So when my brothers were, able to do that, they couldn't because of me.
Yeah, fresh.
So,
fresh.
Sorry.
What was the worst thing you did as a kid, like a teenager, or that your parents don't know, or what's a wild story?
Don't know. I'm going to say senior year of high school. Katrina, my best friend Katrina, her mom was in the military. So sophomore year, 9/11 happened, and she was deployed to Afghanistan. So Katrina would live with us. And we would call my dad on the weekends pretending to be Anne-Marie. And Katrina sounded just like her. And she would say, oh, I'm home this weekend. Why would she be home from the war?
For the weekend?
For 3 days. That's number one, Phil.
Like divorced parents.
Phil, how did you not figure that out? Number one. And we would say, she would say how the girls could sleep here because Katrina lived with me while her mom was deployed. Okay, fine. So one time we all slept at Katrina's and called my dad. I'm like, hey, we're home from the house phone. Mm-hmm. And me, her, and my cousin, and I think 2 other friends went to Highland Plaza. 17 years old, 16 years old, 17 years old, got on a bus, took some ecstasy, and went to Exit on a random bus. Tuesday night from a party bus in Highland Plaza. And we went to the city and we went to Exit and we partied like rock stars. I'm not too sure how we're not dead. And we got back on the bus and we came home. We got dropped off at Highland Plaza and we went, I don't even know how we got back to Katrina's house. Because she didn't live anywhere near there. And then another time we said we're going to stay out all night. And we said we were sleeping at Katrina's and we slept on the steps of Staten Island Tech High School.
Yeah, isn't that pathetic?
And it was 6:30 in the morning. We just want to go home.
What are we doing?
Yeah, we were we're exhausted. So we went back to my house at 7 a.m., rang the bell because we couldn't get in. Oh. And my dad's like, weren't you at Katrina's? And we're like, oh, her grandma dropped her off. Her grandmother doesn't have a license.
And he just believed you?
He did. He said, okay, come in and go to Philly. Come on in. And we slept the whole day and he thought nothing of it.
Big Phil. Love him.
Phil. We got a lot by him.
I wonder if he really believed you or if he just, we got to
ask him. We know interview him. That he used to follow me around. He would we would say we were going out and he would be 2 cars behind us. He's like, I knew you were sleeping at your boyfriend's house. I knew where you were at all times.
Well, you were older, right? I guess, for that? Or no?
17.
Yeah.
So he probably did.
Yeah.
Or he would, like, one time we came back. We
What about
snuck
your
out.
mom? Did your mom?
No, she's a freaking...
Oh, because my mom was, like, the enforcer.
She was the enforcer. Like, my dad would be like, just tell me where you are. I just want to know where you are. And Anna would be, like, screaming at me.
Yeah, like, my dad would never even know where I am because he just worked and was never home. I don't know. He was home. He didn't care about what I was doing.
What's the worst thing you did?
Oh, I did a really bad thing in high school. It's not even funny. I'll tell you right now, I was not a leader at all. I was
went along with
not a leader. I was 100% a follower. And I had a best friend, and she was my best friend since kindergarten. And we were in high school. I believe I was a sophomore. And my other friend too. So my friend, the good friend that I had since kindergarten, she had Ambiens. And before school one day, she had a whole bag full of Ambiens. And I never even did a drug. I think I did like half of an ecstasy pill.
That's a sleeping pill.
Yeah, well, let's tell you the story. So, because they told me it would just give me like the high effect. So, like, I was like a smoker, a weed smoker, like whatever. Obviously, nothing compared to doing this. So I'm at one of my friend's house that lives near the school. Then we used to meet up in the morning, and we each take an Ambien. And stupid me, I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling anything. Like, I'm thinking, oh, like, it didn't hit me. Like, no, obviously you're not going to feel anything.
You took more than one.
I took 3. I took 3 Ambiens, okay? So it's morning. We're going to school. We're walking to school. I am seeing triple. Like, a little girl was coming at me. I saw her like 5 times. It's not even fucking funny. I get into school. Now, we all go our separate ways because we're not even in the same class. And I just remember I'm in, like, my history class. And I just remember writing on the paper so hard. Like, I don't even know. I can't even tell you, like, what it was happening to me. So, I left the class when the bell rang, and I saw another girl, this girl, Chantel, and she was, like, a girl that we hung out with, but she didn't do anything with me. She was just, like, a little older than me, and she was just, like, an acquaintance. She saw me, and she's like, what's going on? And I guess I told her what happened, and she was sitting with me. It was like a movie. She was sitting with me on the staircase. And she's like, it's really fucked up that they gave you these drugs and left you. Like, because I don't know, they weren't as bad as me because they didn't take as many as I did.
3?
So now
Did you read the bottle?
I didn't even know what an Ambien was. I don't even know if I knew it was a sleeping pill. I don't even know if I knew
feel
that.
like with your anxiety,
back then I didn't have anxiety. Maybe the
Ambien
gave me anxiety. So wait, it gets so much worse. So now she brings me to the nurse. She really did, this girl, wherever she is. I always try to, like, find her and look for her. I don't know where she is. I don't even know the last time I saw her. But she really helped me. She took me to the nurse. So the nurse is saying, you have to tell me what you took. And I give her my mother's work number. Don't even ask me how I rattled it off. Like, I knew these things. Then I threw up. Well, she's talking to my mother, and she's saying to my mother, I think she took something, but she's not saying. And my poor mother is, like, a nervous wreck in life. So the things that my point.
Barbara, if you look up the definition of neurotic,
a nervous wreck.
Barbara and Anna are
so
next to each
imagine,
other.
like, she gets this call that her fucking idiot daughter just, like, took a drug. And okay, so now I'm in the nurse's office. She's talking to my mom. I throw up. So the nurse said to me, "Oh, don't throw up on the floor." Like, basically telling me throw up in a garbage pail. So she was bringing over a garbage pail, but my head, all I could consume at that time was that she said don't throw up on the floor. So what did I do? I threw up in my hands. It was all over me because I said you told me not to throw up on the floor. It was like a science project. It looked like it was green goo. My mother didn't have a car, so the poor woman is at work. My uncle at the time, my mom's brother, like, was staying with us, and he drove my sister to the school. Okay, because, like, none of us had cars. He drove my sister to the school. They picked me up. I walked. Obviously, they had to help me in the car. I went to the emergency room. I had to drink that charcoal stuff, like, because then they wanted to pump my stomach.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to drink the charcoal.
Did you tell them what you took?
I guess. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I obviously at that point. So then,
how are you still awake through this?
Oh, because that's the thing. That is what gets you. That's the feeling they want to achieve when they take this Ambien. They want to achieve like that you're high, but like you should really be going to sleep. I don't know. I don't ask me. I don't know. I should have never. It was horrendous. I'll never forget it. So I'm literally in the bed. My sister was with me because my mother, like poor woman, was like on the bus coming to the hospital. I'm chugging this disgusting charcoal drink. It made me throw up. It made me go to the bathroom. All kinds of stuff.
Maybe
just
that's
so,
why you can't
Just
puke.
so they wouldn't pump my stomach. Then my two friends that I took the drugs with, nobody knew where they were. So once they found out that I went to the hospital, the teachers, I feel like the school was like kind of on like a lockdown, and they're like, we got to find these girls because I gave everybody up. And they're like, they could be in the bathroom passed out or something.
Right.
So eventually the two girls came to the hospital also. But again, they weren't as fucked up as me because I'm an idiot and I took 3. So my mom was like, yelling at them. And again, it was a girl I've known literally since kindergarten. She's like, never again. And then I was just like punished for a long time. And then I never hung out with those girls after that. And then that was that.
That's rough.
It was rough. And then the school sent out a letter, not about me, but just saying like, parents, lock up your narcotics because we are realizing that students are taking their parents'
I remember my parents always saying like, I know exactly what you're doing because I did it. And I feel like I say that. Like, you're not going to get one by me to my kids because the shit I did.
So much worse now, though.
But now, like, we could track them. You couldn't track. I was in a field.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tapping a keg.
Yep, in a cemetery. Like, why was I hanging out in a cemetery?
Why was I passed out in a field?
Drinking a 40. Yep. No, I know.
Ketamine. Like, we
didn't even have cell phones. Hardly.
No, I had a beeper.
I didn't.
And then I had a Nokia.
That was my first phone, a Nokia.
You didn't have service anywhere. You had to like.
Yeah.
My parents never knew where I was.
I know. I always lied too, and I was like the worst lie. I still to this day I don't lie. I literally don't lie.
I was the worst.
And everybody knows that about me, that I don't lie. But I lied to my mom. But I was the worst liar. Like I would be like, oh, I'm at. I'm at
that's how Allie
Christine's.
was.
And then like the train, you'd hear the train in the background. Like it's not.
Allie was like that. She couldn't ever lie.
I cannot tell a lie.
I was like, oh, I'm at Katrina's. My lie was always we're at Katrina's. I'll never forget one time we had my cousin he was so strict. Like we couldn't take, he has a beautiful house. We couldn't take prom pictures. His daughter and me are the same age. We couldn't take prom pictures because we were going to prom with boys at his house. And we decided he was away, and we're having a party at Nicole's. Well, 75 people in her house. There were kids sleeping everywhere. Someone punched a hole in the wall. We're spackling it. Her dad's a contractor. We're spackling the wall. Everyone's throwing up. It's just a disaster. The next morning, my dad calls me. I'm laying in her parents' bed with my boyfriend at the time. And my dad calls, like, where I am. I'm like, I'm at Kristen's. He's like, you're at Kristen's? Who are you with? And I was like, Katrina. He's like, funny. Because Dave, Kristen, and Katrina's cars are all outside, parked in front of Nicole's house. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Banging on the front door. She had a big, huge window. Like her house is ridiculous. This big window. I'm crawling across. I'm like, Dave, get up. My dad is crawling across the hardwood floor. He opens the door. He's like, Tressa. He had to bring my cousin's car to the dealership for service while he was away. I didn't know. Corey from Cheer, Corey, he was laying on the couch. He's like, Corey Wiener, get up. I've known Corey my whole life. Get up. Anybody in his path, my friend Russell that passed away, he was there. He got yelled at. There, when I tell you there were people sleeping on the islands, we got in so much trouble. My dad never told his cousin, never. 2-3 years ago, we were at her parents' house, and my dad told the story. You know, she got in trouble. 36 years old.
That's nice to your dad. That he
never told.
That's so nice.
36 years old, she got in trouble for that. We were like, it was 30 years ago. Like, this happened at 17.
Do they even live in the house still?
No, they moved around the block. But regardless,
No, I know. That's just funny.
I got punished. I wasn't allowed out of my house for like 4 months.
Oh, yeah. That's a big
I
one,
was in
too.
so much trouble.
Yeah.
I was 17. I'm like, you can't punish me. I have a driver's license. He's like, I don't give a shit.
No.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
I never got in trouble with a house party because my mother never knew about those. I never had one, and anytime I was at someone's house that did have one, I'm sleeping.
No,
The music would be pumping. I'd be like, oh my God, my mother's calling me. The boyfriend would be like, okay, everybody shut up. Everybody would be in silence. I'd be in the middle of the living room. I'd be like, I'm sleeping. I'll talk to you later. I can't make it up.
No, it was bad. I was a bad teenager. I did a
too.
lot of.
Yeah, I did like bad stuff too. Obviously.
I was very rebellious.
Yeah.
If you told me no, I was doing it 10 times over just to prove I could.
Yeah. Well, my thing was like, just give me. You're not even. My mother was so overprotective. Like, you're not even giving me an opportunity. No. Like, if I tell you, oh, I want to go to the city, like, you're not even allowing me to do it.
No, my dad was very lenient.
Oh no, very overprotective. I couldn't even look out the window.
No, and I'll never forget. Like, my friends, we hung out. Everyone had a nice car. Like, we had a car club. My boyfriend at the time had a Mustang. Cobra, which was like super, like our cars were souped up. It was like Fast and Furious era. Like, we had the lights in the cars, and I remember my dad said, I'll buy you a car, and I was like, I want a Mustang. So we go to Ford, and I'm like, I want a GT. He's like, no, you're getting a 6-cylinder. And I'm like, no, I'm getting a GT. No, then you're not getting a Mustang. Okay, he showed me, he bought me a Mercedes. So you tell me.
And me, I didn't even get my license because nobody was buying me a car.
All I wanted was a Ford Mustang. Bought me a fucking Mercedes. So
well, okay.
Frank says that's the reason I'm the way that I am.
And she got taken home from the hospital in a limo.
I did.
When she was born.
That's where he made the first mistake.
That's a fun fact.
They did. They picked me up in a limo. They were so happy to get me.
Like a princess.
40 years later, they're not. They wish they could return me. He actually, when we met my birth parents, he was like, is there a refund policy?
No backseas.
Could have her back.
No backseas.
I mean, I'm born on his birthday. Oh. That's another fun fact. I was born on his birthday. So we share the same birthday.
The same birthday?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
I don't think
we have the same birthday. And every year he says I'm the most expensive gift he's ever received. And not in a good way.
But you're his favorite gift
I am
of
his
all
favorite.
time.
I am his
That's
favorite.
sweet.
It's what it is.
It's rough out there.
It's rough
being a mom. Rough being a mom with daughters.
Yeah. I wish I had boys. I wanted 4 kids.
I wanted 4 kids too. I wanted an even number. I wanted 4 or 6.
You got an even number. You got
I did,
2.
but I didn't want 2. I wanted 4 or 6.
Jalen was such a bad baby. She cried. She was colic. She was allergic to milk. The day we brought her home, she cried for 8 hours straight. I said, this kid's broken. Send her back. But she was a really good toddler. So I was like, all right, maybe. And then I found out I was pregnant with Jolie, and I was like, I can't do this again. I can't do it again. Jolie slept 9 to 10 hours from the minute I brought her home until the minute she turned 1. She hasn't been right since she turned 1.
So you got a good year out of her.
Hence why there's only 2.
No, I would definitely wanted to have more kids, but I just wasn't coming naturally. So then I was like, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. I have a healthy daughter. I have a healthy son. I have 1 and 1. It's great. They were both excellent babies. They were excellent toddlers. They were excellent growing up. Like,
I would have got little. If I went for a third, I would have had twin girls.
Yeah, definitely.
Frank has 4 sisters.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting a boy.
Yeah. So Jolie is the tomboy in the family.
Yeah, she is. She's my little
She's
little
a
boy.
hockey player.
Hockey, football. She loves sports. I was like that as a kid, though.
Yeah.
I was a tomboy growing up, and then I became a girl. I don't really know what happened.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a lot of going on in your house. Like, there's a lot of men. A lot of
testosterone in my family.
Sports are still a big thing. You're very into it.
Yeah, I love sports.
So that's why.
I do.
Jalen doesn't really care, right?
No.
Yeah.
As long as she's dancing, cheering, or singing, she's fucking happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time I go in her bedroom, she's like, ah! She's got her headphones in. She's dancing around. She's fucking doing a production.
That's what I was when I would, and I didn't even cheer or do anything. I just literally said, "Oh, okay, my Backstreet Boy posters they're my audience."
My wall.
I was having a concert.
Was covered.
Yeah.
Yes, NSYNC, yes. Backstreet Boys, Hanson.
No, not NSYNC.
I was a freaking Hanson was the start of
I liked Spice Girls.
Boy band obsession.
I liked when Hanson was around. I loved the Spice Girls. Yeah. I thought I was a Spice
I was
girl.
Sporty Spice all the time.
I was the sixth Spice Girl. I always wanted to. I loved Baby. She was my favorite,
Yeah.
but because I had like brown hair, I was posh a lot of the time.
I was always Sporty Spice.
So, well, that suits you.
Yeah.
Always. But yeah, so I loved the Spice Girls when Hanson was a thing, and I didn't really care about Hanson. I mean, I liked their
my God, I
songs and
loved
stuff,
them.
but I didn't think they were really cute.
I don't know. I
I wasn't
remember
on that train. I was on a Spice Girl train.
we went to that concert, me and my friend Christina, and we were like the back, like that's the stage. We were sitting, there. And I remember like Zach winked at us. He did. We were 4,000 feet away from the stage, but he winked at us.
Well, just to be young and feel that's like love.
Yeah, I think that's on my obsession.
You're a man.
Like I loved New Kids on the Block, but like my boy band obsession, I think, started with Hanson.
Yeah. Well, New Kids on the Block. So I literally was born in 1988, and that's when they were just starting to hang tough. The New Kids on the Block. But I had an older sister, so she was
1988.
Yep. She was a humongous New Kids on the Block fan. So I think from her, that's where I got like all my psycho.
Yeah,
Zealot
fangirl.
fangirl shit, because she was definitely a big fan. We had the slippers, we had outfits,
The
she
jean
loved,
jackets,
everything,
the buttons. I wish I still had that stuff.
Me too.
I had the sheets.
I had the slippers. We had a sleeping bag. I feel like all kinds of things. So I was like, I have little my home videos when I was little is me singing like New Kids on the Block songs. So it's cute to look back at that. I know. And then I discovered like the Backstreet Boys, I think, on my own, however, and then that just
I'm
over.
in sync I was an in sync girl, but my best friend was a Backstreet Boy fan, so I always liked both.
Yeah.
I never really but if I had to choose, I'd choose in sync.
Yeah, no. Oh God, we could never be friends. When I liked the Backstreet Boys, that was the thing. You couldn't.
I saw them on TRL.
You could not like NSYNC.
Yeah, no, I didn't care.
I
that's
was a
me.
closet NSYNC fan. I like their music, so I had their CDs and stuff. It wasn't like I would when No Strings Attached. I'll never forget when No Strings Attached came out. I lived in Florida. And I just said to my sister, I'm like, oh, did you get me the CD? I am such a psycho. I
wouldn't buy it.
I didn't want to buy it that day it came out because I didn't want to give them the sale.
I was always a rebel. No, I was always a rebel without a cause. If you told me you can't do this, I'm doing it. So you said I can't be a fan of both. I'm going to be a fan of both.
No,
that's how I was.
Definitely was not a fan
I've
of
seen them on TRL. I saw when NSYNC did the Today Show. I'll never forget. A friend of mine, it was like 7th or 8th grade, her mom's office looked right, like she was that building. And I remember we went and I was like, oh my God, they're right there.
Yeah.
Like they were right below. I was like, oh my God.
See, back then, I'm younger than you too. So
yeah.
when I went to my first Backstreet Boy concert, it was in 1999. I was for Millennium. My sister took me, but back then it wasn't as accessible.
No, I remember you had to wait at the Wiz.
She had to go the Wiz.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah,
you had to wait. We waited for NSYNC tickets.
She had to buy these tickets from a scalper.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the internet back then was
you had to go online. We literally.
I have a physical
ticket
stub
for NSYNC. I remember we literally slept in the car outside of the Wiz for tickets, and we only could get tickets to Hershey. We had to have a friend. Actually, a friend, my husband's ex-girlfriend's parents drove us. They drove us to Hershey to go to the concert, and we were in the same hotel as them, and we met everybody.
See, I didn't.
3LW opened, BB Mac. We met all that.
Back then, I couldn't do things like that. I had my sister. That was as far. We went to Nassau Coliseum. We had front row seats. It was great. It was the best. But they weren't. That wasn't the thing to do.
No, my
back
parents.
Then.
My mom literally had a hysterectomy that week, and I was like, I love you, but I have tickets to go see NSYNC and Hershey. My dad's like, you're really gonna go? I'm like, you got this. I gotta go.
And I didn't know better back then either. It was like they weren't accessible.
No, now you could go on Grubhub, Game Time, or TickPick, and you could get tickets the day of. That's what we do. But then you had to literally wait online.
Yeah,
it's
it wasn't the same.
Even for
totally
Xbox, you have to wait on. You had to wait online for everything.
Nothing was the same. Even
early
to
2000s.
even to know that they were on tour, you weren't getting
No, you had to make sure
You had to
that
listen to the radio. Like, you don't even.
And it's like I would call in to Z100
Yes,
to like
yes,
try to win tickets.
yes.
Like caller 99, you had to be caller 100.
Yes, yes,
They don't do that anymore.
They
That
don't
was
do that.
fun.
So that's why I know. So I'm happy.
It's crazy.
I wish that like I had better experiences as a fangirl when I was younger, because that's when I was like, that's when, if you were in front of me, and because I didn't meet the Backstreet Boys when I was younger, I met them when I got older, and obviously I was an adult, I wasn't acting like a crazy person. But if I was 11 years old and Nick Carter was standing in front of me, I bet you I probably would have
Screamed your head off.
screamed in his face.
Instead of just like,
or,
now we're
or
like-
cried or something. Now, like, I'll have a conversation with him. I don't care.
I told Jordan Knight when we went in Atlantic City, I told Jordan Knight he was my hall pass.
Yeah, see, things like that
I
we
did.
couldn't do when we were 11.
So my husband's here, but you're my hall pass. And he laughed.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
it.
sure he gets that a lot.
Yeah, he's not very friendly.
No?
No, he's not the friendliest of the new kids.
No. Donnie is
Donnie gives the best hug.
Donnie is the best.
If you need a hug, find Donnie Wahlberg.
Donnie loves the fans.
He
Loves.
he is very appreciative.
Yeah.
Joey too.
Yeah, yeah.
Joey, yeah. But Jordan,
Danny's quiet. John is quiet.
yeah. Jordan, not so much.
Yeah.
But if Donnie will have a full conversation.
Yeah, no, Donnie. I love that. I love, because we're all. They're a lot older than us, the new kids on the block now, but we're all like in the same
Category?
realm now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're parents. We're everybody's a fan. I don't know. Just
He's getting a spin-off.
I know.
Of Blue Bloods. I'm so.
Because Donnie really likes it. I don't even think he wants it to.
But it's Boston.
to end. Well, that makes sense for him. Sucks for us because they were always filming here, Blue Bloods. They were filming, and they would film in Staten Island.
We just have to go to Boston.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go to. So now.
You got to quit your job. And
I can't quit my job. I can't afford life if I don't have a job.
quit your job because
Jesus Christ.
we're not doing the right thing here. Not doing the right thing here. We should have been in Boston right now.
I mean, we could have went. So tonight is the Four Nations game between
important.
Canada and the U.S. They are the biggest running rivalry in hockey history when these things happen.
And they had the best game last week.
You know,
They fought each other.
it was
It was
wild. Canada is like 15-4-1 or 15-4-4 against the USA. Canada always beats us, and we beat them last week. In the first 9 seconds of the game, it was like 15 fights.
Yeah, I'm getting pumped just thinking about it.
I cannot
We have
wait.
a half hour to go.
So all we kept saying was, we're going to go to Boston. We're going to go to Boston. Well, there was an impending snowstorm. We were supposed to get like 18 inches of snow today. And so we were like, no, the tickets were like what? Maybe $400 or $500 a ticket last week when we were looking.
Yes.
Before they knew it was U.S. and
Yes,
Canada.
Rob
Before
said-
we knew.
My husband said it was like they were like $350. But right, it was before
We didn't
knew
know who was
it
going to be in it, but we were like, whatever, we want to go anyway. It's a good
Yeah.
experience. But then we saw that there was going to be 18 inches of snow, and we were like, we can't do that. Well, guess what?
There's
It
no
didn't snow.
And here we are. But you know what? I didn't even, when we were talking about the tickets prices today, because, in our chat, I'm like, oh, let's just take the train. I'm always down to take the train.
I don't want to take the train. I'd rather drive.
I don't want to take the train either, but, like, I'm just trying to, like, help the cause here.
I
Like,
would have
if
driven.
nobody wants to drive, like, I'll jump on a train.
No, I would have driven.
But I didn't even think about getting the actual ticket for the events. Like, I didn't think about it. Yeah.
$200
I wasn't thinking about the
per
price of the ticket.
ticket.
I was just thinking about how we were going to get there. That's all I would care about.
$3,200 per ticket because it's Canada
Well,
and the U.S.
Needless to say, here we are.
We're not in
We're
Boston.
in Staten Island. We're going to watch it on TV together. That's it.
I came over.
I'm so pumped.
We ordered some pizza, and we're gonna watch this Four Nations face off. And I USA has to win because I can't do another loss. Like I can't be a fan of something and have another loss
This
in my
is,
life.
I feel now. So this is my first Four Nations where I'm a fan, actually, right? Because I'm like new to this hockey world, and it's like the Super Bowl.
It is.
It's not even the Stanley Cup.
If
It's not
you-
even the Stanley Cup, but this is serious. This is all your best players from the
All
U.S.
of the articles.
All the best players in Canada.
All the articles that I was reading today said that the players were like, "This is bigger. USA playing Canada is bigger than the Stanley Cup."
Yeah.
So
I feel it.
For those that don't know hockey, what they do is they take the best players in the NHL, and so it was Sweden, Finland, Canada, and the U.S. So like we're United States citizens, we would play for the United States.
So the United States is like Jack Hughes, because he's a citizen of the U.S.
The Kachuk brothers, JT Miller,
all these people. They're all the guys on the Rangers, Trocheck,
Kreider,
Fox. They're all born in the U.S.
Mika Zibanejad from the Rangers is Swedish, so he is playing for Sweden.
He's on Sweden.
Our friend Eric Holla from the Devils,
Finland.
He's playing for Finland, and then
Canada is
Marchand, who I cannot stand.
Did you see that video when he called the guy a pigeon?
The way I hate that man.
I just laugh. I can't control.
I can't stand him. Anyway, so wherever you were born, wherever your citizenship was at birth, is the team that you. So even
if what team does he play on? The Bruins.
The Bruins.
Yeah, so that's Boston. So that's obviously in the U.S. So he's though he's
playing
on
for Canada.
Even though he's on a U.S. team, he was born in Canada. He's a Canada citizen. That's why he's a part of Canada. So it's like all your best players, and you're basically too playing against your teammates. But look, Jack Hughes played against
Eric Holla. Zibanejad played against Trocheck and Kreider and all them.
Brady Kachuk literally fought Matthew Kachuk's teammate last week. Like, so and these guys, like, they're friends, I'm sure. I
think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be very physical.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be very close. I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth.
I'm nervous.
It's either going to be a very low scoring game or a very high scoring game. There's going to be no in between for this.
I'm excited, and I wish that we would be able to go,
excited.
but we're here instead. But it should
next
be very
time.
good.
Next year's the Olympics.
And also, we might have talked about this last week, but Canada booed when they played against the
Canada booed our national anthem.
But Canada must have. The thing is, Canada had to have booed us prior to that because that's what made Matthew Kachuk mad.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that last week.
I know, but did they play us? We play Canada for like
that day. It was It was that. Yes,
no.
It was. Yes.
They booed our national anthem when they got into the fight.
Yeah.
But Matthew Kachuk was already talking about that prior because they asked him.
Probably the last game, the last Four Nations matchup.
Okay.
Canada and the U.S. It's like a tumultuous.
But we didn't. Canada and the U.S. didn't play, is what I'm saying, prior to that one time.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, Canada was booing.
Canada doesn't like us.
The United States. Now, I have family in Canada. My cousins are from Canada. They're my Canadians, and I love them so much.
I want to go to Canada.
And a lot of hockey players are from Canada, and that's I think where the.
I think it's because Canada is like where hockey is Canada's, like baseball is America's pastime, right? That's what they say. Yeah. Hockey is Canada's pastime. Yeah. Hockey is their sport.
So that's why they're considering, obviously they're thinking they're better.
America has basically taken over because the NHL technically is here. Mm-hmm. There's Canadian teams in the NHL, but we have 50 states worth of hockey teams. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know. Yeah. They just don't like us.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they booed us.
And we kicked their fucking asses.
And that was,
that game.
So now you're mad, right? Like as a U.S. citizen, you're pissed that this other
don't
country
boo our anthem.
Is booing, which is very rude.
Very rude. We didn't boo their anthem.
Don't do that, guys.
I sing it when it comes on.
Don't boo anybody.
Oh, Canada. Because we watch a lot of hockey.
It just ain't right. It's not right.
No. Jolie was like, "How do you know this?" And I was like,
hockey. Yeah.
We watch a lot of hockey. They sing it every time they play a Canadian team.
Yeah. And you got a lot of hockey players that are from Canada that are not playing, that they're just they're just being a fan now, and
it's not right.
I don't know.
Or
up. Who are they rooting for? Like Matt Rempe, for instance, he said that about JT. Like he said when they got into the fight, he's like, "Oh my god, I want to like drill my head against the wall." It's like
such a great quote.
He was so excited.
But that's
who
the thing.
Is he rooting for? He's Canadian.
He's Canadian, but his teammates are all playing for USA. Yeah. So what do you do?
And you play for USA. Like your paycheck is from
the
US, right? So that's where it gets a little finicky.
I don't know.
But whatever. I'm excited to see this game.
I'm very excited. Well,
I'm nervous.
So we're going to go eat our pizza and watch. Anyway, thank you for listening. Hopefully our episode is as good as we thought it was. So basically we're literally unhinged and unplugged.
Literally.
Because I don't even know what we talked about just now.
We just talked a lot about a lot of things. A lot about
I hope you got
ourselves
to know us a
mixed in
little
with
better.
that we watched Teen Mom.
Hopefully you got to know us a little bit better.
Just a tad. We'll brush more on it next time.
We're going to do to do like a whole episode on our grief. Because I feel like we both.
That's separate. Yeah.
We've both like.
That'll be like a sad episode. So
Yeah. We've had
have to
I feel
prepare
like
for that.
we can like
yeah.
reach a couple people with that.
Yeah. So
We've both had-
that'll be like with its own self, I feel.
Thank you for listening.
All right, toodles. Go USA.
Team USA.